Good afternoon, everyone. It's a very warm welcome to all of you, members of the Fourth Estate, the press, ladies and gentlemen who are tuned in at home. Today it gives us, as the MDC Alliance, huge pleasure to be able to be standing shoulder to shoulder with Mako. I think over the last 10, 11, 12 months, the regime has made young activists, MDC Alliance members, and general progressive forces the target of very calculated persecution. We saw that he was incarcerated for no less than 10 months in very bad prison conditions, of which you'll all be aware. So today is just an opportunity for us to hear from him now that he has been released from prison. Note that I said released from prison, not free. You know, what some of his experiences were, what it all symbolizes. I think we all are aware that we are about 12 months away from a landmark election that's really going to change the fortunes of this country. We know that young people are going to be very decisive in acting to drive the sort of change that we need to transform this nation and, you know, build the kind of Zimbabwe of which we can all be proud. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mako, and he will share a few insights, share a few words, and thereafter you will have an opportunity to ask him some questions. Thank you.
Yeah, revolutionary greetings to you, and it's a pleasure to be interacting with you after quite some time. I'd almost forgotten how outside is like. But the most powerful thing is we're here and to continue in this experience, the 10 months, 22 days. They made one thing very clear to me, and that one thing is that in 2017 November, the operation told us it was nothing but a manifesto for increased corruption, looting, human rights abuses, you know, and primitive accumulation. We see those who are the beneficiaries of in such a drive. They are primitively accumulating assets of prestige, but they are failing to ensure and guarantee that we have quality access to quality education, access to quality healthcare, proper housing, you know, even proper funding for things like agriculture and many other aspects in our country. So as a result, I think I have to dig more and then return back later to this. I mentioned about how it was a fraudulent manifesto, the Operation Stolicas, because if you go into prison where I was, prison for me it resembled a symmetry of dreams and aspirations. The thousands of people who are in there, most of them you find, yes, I do not condone criminality, I do not condone, you know, the abuse of other people's property or rights, but you will find that most of these people, they are in there because of crimes of the economy. They are in there because they are forced to resort to crime for them to survive. They are in there, their continued presence in there is also proof of the imbalance of our justice system. Because whatever they are doing, those who are in the contested government of the day, they are doing it a million times more. So for me, seeing them, because I would take time and even ask them, when you're in grade 1, when the teacher asked you what you want to do when you grow up, what did you say? Some of them would say, I wanted to be a pilot, others I want to be a lawyer, others I want to be a teacher, others I want to be a policeman, I want to be a soldier. Others failed to then become, you know, the pilots that they wanted to be because of the system, because of some of those misgovernance, because of, you know, expensive access to education, which is limiting and prohibiting most of the ordinary citizens and young children. Because after all we want is a Zimbabwe where every child is an opportunity to learn and every adult is an opportunity to meaningful employment. But then you find that even those who manage to achieve their childhood dreams of being even police officers, even soldiers, even teachers, they are in prison. Why? They are underpaid. They are underpaid and they are forced to criminality, and they are flooding the jails now. Even, you know, on the point of, you know, just a special mention, it's a dark message. when I was coming from Harare Central right now to report as part of my reporting conditions, I met teachers, 16 of them arrested. Why? They are demanding better. They are demanding better lives. They are peaceful, they are not violent. They did not violate any law. So it's unfortunate, and I hope that maybe they will get bail. I'm sure their lawyers will do it, so that they avoid going and experience what I experienced in prison. Like for example, in the D-class section where I was staying, the situation here, I can't really blame the prison officials themselves, because they are also victims of this government. They are also underpaid. They are also under-resourced to discharge their duties. They are also, under, they are not well-resourced. So you find that, for example, in the D-class section where I was staying, the maximum, there are facilities for a maximum number of 300 people. But when I left, there was over 750 people staying crammed under this COVID conditions during this COVID pandemic. Even if you had checked the water, it's a nightmare to access water when I left. Even the sewer systems, it was even in a semi-permanent situation of sewer, we had to live up with it. It was a condition where I understood that yes, I am a remand prisoner, I might have rights and I have those rights under the law. But the situation, the material conditions on the ground rendered me inhuman. They rendered everyone in prison subhuman. And if the government, they know, and they are putting people in prison for committing crimes which they feel them to. So I think more importantly, what I also discovered is that during this time I had more time to reflect and to discover a lot of things which otherwise when I was outside I would never have discovered. And number one thing is we have to remain resolute and continue with this struggle, because there are only two options, either to continue pushing forward or to retreat. But either way, we are in a fix, because if we retreat, we will continue suffering. So it's rather better we suffer as a means of fighting to claim our struggle. And also, another most important thing is all revolutions, mostly especially the one we are pursuing, non-violent and mass, best revolution. Or even if you were to take the ones that happened in Africa during the diplomacy period, which were a bit, more violent. One thing to remember is that all revolutions, they end in the ballot box. All revolutions end in the ballot box. So it's my plea to fellow young people out there who are suffering, young people in the ghettos, young people in the rural areas, that's minors, prisons, unemployed graduates, underemployed workers. My plea is that we all must go and register to vote. And also it's a message from the other fellow citizens who left them. We understand that the right to vote, every Zimbabwean has a right to vote, but they know they are being denied. Why? Because the ZANU-PF knows that people who are inside, they see them for who they are. They are naked in front of prisoners. They see them for who they are in terms of as far as their rights are concerned. It's just black and white, there's no gray area. And the situation is black for them. In terms of wealth, in terms of the justice system, how it's compromised and stuff, they see it because if our justice system is not compromised, if they can afford to arrest other people and charge them with armed robbery, why don't they arrest people who are committing it on a greater scale? Why don't they arrest people who are committing it on a greater scale? Because in as far as I'm concerned, armed robbery, it's stealing, using force, dispossessing someone of their property, using force with a weapon. But if a president loots public money, he goes there with a motorcade with soldiers who are armed, and he steals people's money, what do we call that? Is that not armed robbery? Why is he not arrested? Is there justice in Zimbabwe? What do we say of our justice system if it allows him to do that? So more importantly, what the message they gave is, comrade man, go and tell others they who have, the capacity to register and vote, to register to vote. And also, maybe it is the only thing that they can do on our behalf. Remember, I was even I lived as a convicted prisoner at some point. They went to the other prison. I would say them, they would say, we want things to get better. We want Zimbabwe to be better, to have a responsible leadership. And once it is a responsible leadership, yes, we did wrong, we committed these crimes that we got committed, that we got convicted for. And we don't expect, to be let scot-free, but as long as we are in here, we deserve to live better, to live like human beings. Because I discovered diseases that I never thought existed. Like pelagi. The skin to crack because of malnutrition, severe because of malnutrition. And people are surviving that way. And it's because of lack of basic food. But when I was outside, we hear of Bamba athletes, we hear the stories of success of command agriculture. Why then can they feed the fellow citizens? So their message was, you can register before, but we can't. So please, the act of solidarity we can do with us, please register and vote, for change. Register and vote for progress. Register and vote for better lives. Register and ensure that when we vote for a government that will ensure that we achieve our aspirations, of however varied they may be as young people. So, yeah, I think maybe the follow-up question that you to know that.
Thank you so much, Mako, for just sharing so openly your insights around your experience with the incarceration. Now, I'm just going to open the floor up to any journalist who wishes to ask Mako any questions you may have for us. Please just lift up your hand, tell us your name and your news house, and we'll gladly take those questions. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Samuel Shakawira from True Securitas. Mako, can you kindly confirm that there were attempts on your life while you were in prison?
Yes, I can confirm. And let me explain the situation. We were in a cell at night. Someone came and attacked me, strangled me. But when I woke up, and when others woke up and restrained him, he started pretending and acting like he was insane. So, yeah. And the dangerous thing now is if someone attacks you or injures you or commits a crime against you or even murders you, if they are mentally unstable, they won't get convicted for the crime that they committed when they were not in a sober state. So that was the most, that was something that was like very disturbing for me. Yeah, because there were questions that I could not answer because the guy was pretending to be mad. There were questions like, is he really mad? You can't ask someone who said to me, they can't answer you. Number two, you can't even ask him to, if you've been sent to do this, maybe it's just your meetings. So it was just unanswered questions. But one thing I then believe is the guy, after a few days, he then left, just disappeared from prison. So if he was truly mad, he would have taken long and been transferred maybe to the psychiatric unit. But he got through the normal process. He got bail. Insane people are instructed to, the courts to see to doctors, but he wasn't. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am?
My name is Anna Chibani from Zimbabwe.com. Can you tell us how is your health after you left the prison? And maybe tell us about your health. Are you okay?
Health-wise, it's normal. Maybe I no longer know my normal feeling. So, but I'm doing medical consultations with my doctors to ensure that, of course, I gave some other cold maybe minor fevers, so maybe it's a change of conditions, because inside there it's difficult to really get warm food. Mostly it's very very cold food, and some of the food, even if I manage to get it from outside, like this without relocating, yeah, that's the issue. And also, speaking on that, in terms of my welfare, I would like to appreciate, all Zimbabweans, or all citizens, of the world, per se, who stood up with me, who spoke on my behalf when I could not speak, when my voice was muffled. They ensured that their voices became my voice. I would also want to appreciate the fellow comrades that I also work with in the democratic movement. The effort and also the pressure in the streets. I even met some of them. I saw them in prison. Some were badly tortured when they were participating in the peaceful demonstrations to mark my release. I also want to appreciate the diplomatic community, because the pressure they made to hear the treatment would even change, because when they were treating me in a bad way, which would be illegal. A good number of them say, we have heard in the British Parliament, the case was being debated. So it was something that would also, it made, definitely they may deny it, because I saw a few days later, the contested president of the Republic, he released a statement himself to the effect that we have our own justice system, blah, 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 but I could see that this was just bravado. Because if it were not bravado, there were many people who could have responded on his behalf rather than him to come and respond to more like the parliamentary portfolio committee for another nation. And then also to my legal team, they were very fantastic. My trial lawyers, I worked the journey from the beginning until now, even this week. I think I've been going to court almost on a daily basis with them, and I have 100% trust in them. And them, I know that they are good, the likes of the babies, the shower, TC, Chadama, the Zimbabwe, no less human rights, Jeremiah and some of them. They are fantastic, they're doing a steady job. And also, my very lawyers for this case, but then it also to the lawyers, Mr. Sen Chabuka and Professor Matuku. They made a fantastic team together. So, and it was because of this solidarity that I also evolved. Because, the most dangerous thing is to lose hope. And you must not lose hope with Zimbabwe. That's my message. You must not lose hope and say 14 does not work. You must not lose hope and say, they will read. But this time around, we were going with to ensure by any means necessary that we will not let the devil run away with the battle in front of the organization. That's one thing that to ensure. And we have to vote and really defend our vote peacefully, but in our numbers. Change everyone if we vote in our number. Because if we register in mass in our numbers, in our millions, it will also increase the reconciling. It will be difficult. You saw what happened in 2008 when the reconciling was too far ahead of them.
Yes.
They failed to go into the grades and do the mathematics. Even now in 2018, they failed to go into the mathematics. That's why they then did away with the server and even refused to make it available to the public for verification. And they themselves if they were asked to provide the field effort, they fraudulent papers. They could not. It was because people had voted. So if we vote in mass, if we register to vote, I'm telling you the victory is certain. Because those who will take the necessary steps to then protect that victory will only be able to do it once we have that victory. So let's play our part and make sure we get that victory. And you will be shocked with how much even people within the system really want change in this country. I can tell by basic statistics. Check how many police officers are getting arrested for cases like fraud and other things. And they call it shift 4, shift 5. Because I'm sure police, their shifts they end at 4. So they get arrested for regarding shift 5. Shift 5 is when they deploy themselves. Soft deployment to go and make extra money through illegal means. So and then another one, if you check the soldiers, soldiers ever since the birth of the Second Republic, or the so-called new dispensation, the number of armed robberies by soldiers, they've skyrocketed. They've skyrocketed. So for me, it's proof that the people whom they use to suppress our rights, the police, the military, they are also suffering from worse than we are. And they are killing themselves, because when the police are going to arrest the soldiers, they are cases from recent cases. So on that basis alone, I'm very much sure that even those in the system is confirmed by even the practical results of votes from the various police spaces and parks, even heritage groups supporting the issues that they want change. And yeah.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Yes?
Yes, Mako, during your 10-month incarceration, you conveyed that with fellow inmates, actually conveyed a message that they wanted to participate in the 23 elections by actually exercising their democratic right to vote.
Yes.
Now, being a pro-democracy activist that has been released from prison, what measures are you going to undertake to ensure that the fellow inmates, or rather prisoners that are in prison, are going to exercise that democratic right to vote in the 23 elections?
Number one is to mobilize for the wider, and broader implementation of the right to vote for Zimbabwean citizens. These ones, they told me, because I was with them in prison, and they truly value and understand the power of the vote. So they gave me, a clear request that please ensure that we get in a position for, because if you vote, you know what we are voting for. We are voting for a fair justice system. We are voting for better lives. We are voting for better prison conditions. We are voting for, the future of our children that we left outside. We are voting for our spouses and relatives that we left outside. So, why I said we are going to also ensure an increased fight for the implementation of the right to vote is there are also other millions like in the diaspora. They are Zimbabweans. The constitution is clear. Come on, every year, every election year of the Mozambican election, we see Mozambican Zimbabwe queuing up to vote here in Zimbabwe. So why can't we do the same? So we are going to be launching a spirited campaign. Number one, for increased voter registration. Number two, for ensuring that prisoners get their rights to vote. Prisoners enjoy their rights to vote. Because it's where it begins. If the government of the day claims to be legitimate, then it should run its electoral processes in a legitimate manner for them, for the legitimacy to be unrealistic. They have to ensure that people vote. So why they refuse them the right to vote? They know that prisoners know and have experienced first-hand abuse of the system. Number one, they know that, for example, also in the diaspora, the millions of Zimbabweans in the diaspora, they know that they are political and economic refugees. Number one is clear, they are political, they ran away, in fear for their lives, then number two, they ran away in search of greener pastures. So all of them can be classified one way or another. They are political and economic refugees. So it's something that I'm going to put my all and also encourage my fellow comrades and citizens that we put our all to ensure that this constitutional right to vote by my former inmates will be realized.
Thank you. We're going to take two more questions. You may just remember to tell us your name and your news house. Yes, sir.
News of Africa. Mako, do you have ambitions in politics? Besides being an activist, do you foresee yourself getting the fray of active politics?
No, my brother, that's a very good question. And I can tell you maybe the long short of it that all I want is an inclusive and democratic Zimbabwe. All citizens, issues and concerns are able to address. And maybe I can give you a brief, brief insight into how I study politics, how I become politics, how I become an activist. Because I'm a village boy. I grew up in the village in Zimbabwe. So, but however, both my parents also understood the value of education, and also I was somehow, intelligent and handy for things. They sent me to better schools, like out of the high school, to high school. So from there, I would discover that when I moved from the village to go to school, I will lose friends. Why can't they go? They don't have enough money. Their parents can't even imagine sending their kids, to high school or even to the local secondary school. So it's something that I discovered even when coming to university. And when I did, I think my first, peaceful action month for the Haruzivishe was in 2008, when Form 4 at Bukuna High School. We were getting, the economy was pretty bad, we were getting junk food. So that demonstration was in front of better food. And that demonstration, all we wanted was better food. There were no political ambitions. All of that to be achieved. Then number 2, even there when I came to university, it was about the access to education. But also, in any struggle, the people, when we are in the fight for democracy, when we are in the fight for development, if the people are to entrust, to ensure that there are no made for us to win this fight, like we fight for the rights, for the rights for listeners to vote. People can give just really questions, just like in a soccer match. Someone can be as a defender, others a striker, others a midfielder. So, yeah, what is in my mind this series of now is just that we need to free Zimbabwe as soon as possible. I know very well that I may have, but I'm out on bail, but I'm not yet free. Because since this whole week I've been going to court on a daily basis, I've gotten conditions, strict body conditions. So I'm only bailed, but not yet free. And the trials are continuing. And just like also Zimbabwe, it's independent, but not free. So to ensure that we get the freedom, social, economic, economic freedom, but it's going to be ensured by political freedom.
Thank you. Are there any further questions?
I'm sorry, Mako, I'll come late. Can you just tell me that everything that makes you think Zimbabwe is not yet free? Just for the sake of our viewers.
3 things. Number 1, interest capture. Yeah, you can't say a country that has captured institutions, it is in no way free. Number 2, lack of accountability by leaders. They behave like they are bosses, yet they are supposed to be our servants, they are public servants. It means we are not free. Number 3, rule by law instead of rule of law. People are abused. Those who are speaking right now, it's raining, it's cold. We have 16 teachers at the Haruzivishe police station, and they've since been over-detained. They are not yet in court. And you can't say you can't just free just like that.
Thank you. At this juncture, I'm going to thank Mako very much for his bravery, his courage, what he represents for the young people of this nation. I would like to also emphasize the need for all young people to register to vote. As we all know, we are faced with a by-election. The MDC Alliance, as a political actor, will participate in all political processes while pushing for action on reform. Please, we are going out into the people, into the masses, into our constituencies, into communities to ensure that the people have adequate representation, especially as we prepare and gear towards 2023. As for all the modalities, we're going to relay those firstly to the communities, to the candidates, and then obviously we'll come out to the public. Nomination court is coming up, so you will all be told in due course what is going to happen. So thank you very much. Thank you for believing in the movement. On behalf of President Nelson Chamisa, I want to emphasize every single person. Make sure that every single person you live with, every single young person that you know, every single old person that you know is registered to vote. That's our mantra for 2022, 2023. Let's all register to vote.
Defining a new course for Zimbabwe.